Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know that most of you don't really like watching these vertical videos, but I don't have anything to prop my phone up on at this moment, and I'm really not feeling it, so I apologize. So, I am just not doing well today. I'm not feeling so crappy health-wise, but I'm not doing well mentally. Because not only is it a gazillion degrees outside and very uncomfortable, as I've expressed, someone that I love very much has a mental illness. And it's not a knock on them, because a lot of people do. I myself suffer from anxiety, but this person lacks the maturity to regulate their emotions very well. And sometimes they don't take their medication as directed, and they lie about it. I'm just trying to get my hair to stay still. Sorry, guys. So that makes life difficult. And they have very low frustration tolerance, no patience, and freak out at the slightest inconvenience. And yesterday was a really rough day, dealing with a lot of that. And there's a little yelling and outbursts, name calling, and quite honestly, all of that, it kind of triggers feelings in me that go way back to childhood. And I know that that's not this person's fault. But separately from that, I go out of my way to do everything that I can for this person. And sometimes, even with a mental illness, you just have to learn how to recognize that and have some gratitude. And yeah, that's not happening. Everything always ends up being my fault, even if it's not. There are no thoughts for me how I might feel, and I'm being told that there's something wrong with me every day, and actually, yeah, sometimes there can be. And I have to be careful with my health, and I have to save my energy sometimes. But I devoted about 4 to 5 hours of running around yesterday with this person to get them what they wanted and to keep them occupied in 103 degree heat with the real feel of 112 to my detriment. And then they still wanted more, and they're not very understanding. And this morning when I woke up, I'm not feeling myself. I'm even having a hard time expressing myself. My stomach is tied in knots. My anxiety is really at a high for today. I'm trying to quiet my nervous system, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm in my room right now. I'm laying in bed. I had to go run a couple quick errands this morning before it got too hot, and go feed my stray kitty friend. And that always makes me feel a little bit better. But when I woke up, I just wanted to cry. And I'm trying not to get upset right now, but I'm just so tired, you guys, of feeling like whatever I can do is not enough. I'm exhausted. I'm really at my wit's end. I mean, I am stretched so thin right now with everything that I'm trying to manage. And I am a very positive, grateful person, but as you guys know, sometimes just life can just suck, and that's me being realistic, and that's me keeping it completely real with you. And I'm trying my best on all fronts, and no matter what I do, it's just not good enough, especially for the person I was talking about before. And it's to the point where with everything I'm trying to take care of and everyone I'm trying to take care of, there's not even any space for me to take care of some of my own needs. I mean, it's going to sound ridiculous, but I only have 2 pairs of shorts that I unpacked. Well, actually, I didn't pack them away last winter. And yeah, I don't have a big enough closet to leave 2 seasons of clothes out, so I put away the summer clothes in the fall, and then I take them back out in the spring, early summer, and I put away my winter clothes. So I only have these 2 pairs out. I mean, there's times where, like, I'm going a couple of days without showering because I just don't have enough energy with dealing with everything, honestly. And, if any of my friends who I talk to regularly are listening to this, don't think that I can't be there for you because I'm going all through this. I love talking to you guys, and I love hearing you out, and it actually gives me a distraction and helps me not feel so lonely, because I'm also just very deeply, deeply feeling isolated and lonely, because I just feel like this is just my life. Like, I'm stuck inside quite a bit when the weather is too hot for me to go out in, and that's very isolating, and being insulted and put down all the time for the slightest little thing, and being told to hurry up, and all of that. What you're doing isn't good enough, and you're lazy, and this and that, by this person who doesn't even know what it's like to really live life yet, and doesn't have any idea, even though they've been told all the things that I did before, that they should know, before I was disabled. I mean, I did do quite a bit with my little life, and I think I still am, but I'm just hurting emotionally. I'm feeling, like I said, very, very anxious, and I'm just trying to rally, because I know that there is so much to be grateful for. I know that none of what this person's saying is true, but at the same time, they just want and want and want and want and want and want, and what I have to offer is not good enough. And I understand where they're coming from on some things, but, unfortunately, I just can't wave a magic wand to make everything the way they want and everything better for them, when I'm just trying to juggle so many things. And I just wish that it wasn't so hot so we could go do something and enjoy the holiday, but it's just relentless out there. And thank God we have working air conditioning, but it's still warm in the house. It's warmer than I feel comfortable with. That's why I'm staying in my room, because it's cooler in here than it is in the rest of the house. The living room is reasonably cool. It's 75, and compared to the real feel outside, which is 108 today, I'll take that. But the back of the house is pretty warm, the kitchen and whatnot, and the bathroom. But you know what? When the sun goes down, that's when I'll do what I need to do, so I don't give myself a stroke. And that's the other thing, too. This person is not understanding, very self-centered, of the fact that with a lot of the health issues I have, I just can't be overtaxing myself. It's not worth me having to go to the hospital. It's not worth me having a stroke. It's not me being dramatic. I'm still doing everything that I'm responsible for in this heat, but on a much lighter level. There's still food to eat. It may not be what the person wants, but it's there. I just wish that I could close my eyes and just maybe kick my heels twice. Click my heels twice together, I mean. And just go away somewhere that's beautiful and cooler, but still warm. And I don't know, I just keep picturing the ocean waves, but even being at the beach today, and this is no lie or exaggeration, I could show you the screenshot that I took at the beach near us, Sandy Hook it is, not the one down the street, but the ocean beach. It was 125 to 135 real feel. That is insane. So yeah, we're not even getting relief there, and from what I hear, the traffic is horrendous. There are multiple shopping centers around town that are closed because there's no power. My ex-husband's apartment hasn't had power since 7:30 last night. Yeah, I know that I'm bitching about something that nobody can help, but, I just wish that I could fully relax. I really do. And I just can't. I'm so, wound up. And I just need to have some peace. I wish that my bathtub would hold water for longer than 10 minutes so I could take a bath. I would even be happy with enough time for myself to give myself a pedicure, because I just don't have a lot of time for even self-care, rather. And I can't even think straight. I do laundry, and I take it to the dryer and put it over a kitchen chair, and sometimes it will just sit there for a couple of days while I struggle to keep up with everything else. My sister, she's dealing with her stuff, and I'm there for her, and I'm taking care of her. But she used to do a couple chores, which, helped me tremendously. But now I have to do that on top of the things that I normally do. And some days are rough, especially when I'm taking care of her the way that she needs and trying to deal with the other person. And not having enough time with the people who bring light into my life. And not that this other person doesn't bring light into my life at times, but it's just so odd because of their disorder, their moods. They swing back and forth like a pendulum. It's like dealing with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And you never know what version of the person you're going to encounter or what you're going to say is going to set them off. And I'm walking on eggshells a lot. I can't tell them anything. It's my home, but I can't tell them anything that they might think is negative. If they should make a mess somewhere and I very nicely ask them to clean it up, I get told that I find fault with everything that they do. But the messes that they're leaving behind, they're disgusting, they're hazardous to my pets, and they have no recognition of that. And I word everything very nicely. And I try to, change the terms around, like, hey, could you help me out? And please don't leave that like that. You wouldn't want anything to happen to the cats, right? And they do tend to be forgetful, and that's also part of their issues. They leave the doors open after they've been outside, and I have asked, do you want me to put a sign on the door? Not making fun of you, but to remind you, when you come in, turn around, close the door, lock it. Put the draft dodger up against the door so that the heat stays outside. I know that it doesn't help a whole lot, but it helps a little bit to put the draft dodger there. And it doesn't help that I have not had a therapist in about 9 months, because I was part of a program that the funds were cut by our wonderful, fearless leader. And I am not going to get political, but gee, thanks so much. Let's make America great again, right? There wasn't enough help for everybody who needs it before that happened, and now there's even less. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you might think this is negative, but I know that we all have days like this. And I know that I'll be fine. I just need to take the rest of today and focus on calming my nervous system and let myself have those good cries if I need them. Be as cool as possible. Do as little as possible. This heat is supposed to pass by tonight. It's supposed to rain again. I also have the added stress on my mind. Well, I need to mow the front yard and weed whack it. But I know I physically can't go out there and do it. It could literally kill me. So I've got to wait until it's a normal temperature, and then I've got to just do it in sections. It's not very big, but I was paying someone, but it was literally $50 a cut. And I cannot afford over $100 a month for lawn care for 2 little postage-sized stamp areas that are mostly weeds. I just can't do it anymore. So I've got to figure it out. And like I think I told you guys, I bought some used equipment, and I don't really have a whole lot of help here, and that's what the frustration is. And when I ask for help, there's always an argument, and I'm just tired. Like when I was coming home from feeding the stray cat, I was driving past a bunch of cute little houses. They weren't big, they were modest, but they were so cute and well kept and well maintained. And I just kept thinking, it must be really nice to have a partner to help you with those things. I did once, and I wish I did again, but it didn't work out. And ever since then, the partners that I have had, they haven't really been into home and maintenance and really being a true partnership. It was always all on me to figure it out anyway. And I know that whoever's living in those houses, their lives aren't perfect either, but it must be nice to have someone to shoulder the burden with, because it's just really exhausting. It really is. And I never thought at this stage in my life that I would have to do this much alone. And it makes me think about my mom. And she was my age. She had a stroke when she was, let me think. When I was 14, she had her stroke, so she was 52. She had a hard time. She maintained a whole house, and she was disabled, and we didn't have that much, and it's hard to do it all by yourself, guys. And if you can't pay someone to do it, you really do have to do it all by yourself. There's just no choice. And some of us, even if we do have partners, they're not the partner they should be, for whatever reason. Again, that's not a knock on them. Just some people aren't capable, and some of us aren't lucky. But I've rambled long enough, and I've let out some of my emotions. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to not, I guess. I also drove past a couple of houses that they painted such a lovely picture of, like, a family. But of course, I don't know what's going on in there. I mean, like, just a normal, typical, everyday house, nothing bougie or anything, with just a pool in the backyard with a tree over it to shade it, and little ones in the pool, and their parents in the backyard in their bathing suits watching them, probably barbecuing, and it just seems so relaxed and so supportive, and I just wish that I could have had that, because I've never really known what that feeling is, to just have that inner peace, have my stomach completely untwist, be able to relax and just kick back and say, hey, you can put your feet up. Somebody's here and they'll catch your fall, and you can actually have fun because you don't have to be the one to be responsible for every little thing. So that's where I'm at today, guys. And it's the 4th, so I'm not going to post this today. But I do hope that you guys had a happy 4th. So I'll post this tomorrow because I don't want to bring anybody down today, because you're all supposed to be having fun. But I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.